and witness, couldn't be here in person, but everyone that is able to attend, thank you very much. One of the things I wanted to share today is the impact of IRMA and Medicare to your Social Security during retirement. So a lot of people are not aware of what IRMA is or how Medicare will affect your Social Security and how are these two related. So today I'm actually going to talk about that in a series of slides here to bring awareness and to stress the importance of how you prepare for retirement. So let's talk about what we know. So in retirement, there are two certainties. Social Security, which is a form of income throughout retirement, which we all pay for through our working lives, and also Medicare. So a lot of people don't know, but when you turn 65, you have a window to sign up for Medicare. And Medicare is health insurance throughout retirement. So it covers those needs that are outside of your standard employer healthcare plan. Now, the one thing about Medicare needs to be planned for, especially if you're counting on your Social Security benefit. According to the most recent Board of Trustees report, Medicare costs are projected to inflate 5.85% on average through 2028. Now, 2019 Medical Board of Trustees report is being used as the trustees reported in 2020 and 2021. Due to COVID and changes to the program, the trustees believe that it is not possible to adjust the estimates accurately at this time. So, of course, during COVID, millions of people were put out of work, which did not contribute to Medicare or Social Security. And unfortunately, a lot of people passed away, no longer with us. And as a result, those people are not paying into Social Security or Medicare. So that's why they made this statement. Now, so you now know that your Social Security benefit is not going to be what you were told it is going to be with that financial plan you were given. The first reason is through taxation. And the second is through Medicare, which now is also mandatory by federal law. But what are those costs of Medicare? Here are those costs. Every category has increased in price since 2020. Part A is what we've all been paying for, or some of us are still paying for through our working careers. Part B has gone up from $144.60 in 2020 to $164.90 currently right now in 2023. Part D has also increased from $70 in 2020 to $84.06 in 2023. Even the average annual cost per person and per couple has gone up. Average annual cost used to be around $4,000. Now that's going up to $52.41, and you see cost per couple is pretty much double. This is why Medicare needs to be planned for, especially if your Social Security benefit was discussed in any way. According to the most recent report, Medicare costs projected to inflate 5.85% on average through 2028. Right now, as you can see, the historic average of Medicare, looking at Part B, is 7.62%. Now, if we look at the projected rate, what they are projecting out beyond 2028 is 6.23%. So historically, that's really an issue. That's an actual fact. I'm not sure why they're projecting a lower rate, but as you can see, this is going to be a problem. Let's just look at the data actually provided by the federal government. And just to point out, all of this information comes from Medicare.gov and SocialSecurity.gov in this presentation. But In the terms of cost and what the projected rates of the cost will inflate for a 60-year-old couple residing in Arizona. So as of February, Arizona is the middle of the pack as far as cost. It is the 25th most least expensive state. So it's right in the middle to reside in when determining the national average Part D and gap premiums. Okay. So please keep in mind, cost again is a state average. And like every state, there are Medicare Part B and gap plans that may be much less expensive than the national average. That's why the key is to plan accordingly. But as you can see, 67-year-old, they retired 67 years old, excuse me. They actually earn on the Medicare average in their plan until age 90. But from that period of time, from 67 to 90, they should expect to pay $766,681 in health costs throughout retirement. Unfortunately, that 766,000 number is not the only pressing issue at hand. Medicare premiums are also subject to means testing through income-related monthly adjustment amount. So this is the introduction to IRMA. Question that I ask everyone here, has anyone ever discussed IRMA with you? You don't have to answer that now. We'll get to that later. When you enroll into Medicare, the IRS will actually inform the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services on how much income you have earned. If it happens to be over a certain amount, a surcharge may be placed upon your Part B premiums and gap premiums. IRMA was created through the Medicare Modernization Act of 2003 and first implemented in 2007. Yes, you heard me. 15 years ago, or 16 years ago now. This is 2023. This is why planning for income in retirement has become paramount. The wrong type of income can lead to higher Medicare costs, which will lead to lower Social Security benefits. Just think about that 766,000 number for just premiums being even higher. So according to the Code of Federal Regulations, IRMA is an amount that you will pay for your Medicare Part B and D coverage when your modified adjusted gross income is above certain thresholds. And you see on this next slide, according to the Medicare's handbook, if your modified adjusted gross income is above a certain amount, you may pay an income-related monthly adjustment amount. The IRS electronically provides the Social Security Administration with tax information to determine which enrollees must pay IRMA. So IRMA is for those who are enrolled into either Medicare Part B, Medicare Advantage with prescription drug coverage, Medicare Advantage plan without drug coverage, Medicare prescription drug plan, and those who have modified adjusted gross income above threshold for their tax filing status. So according to the Social Security's handbook, the definition of IRMA income is adjusted gross income plus any tax exempt interest or everything on lines 2A and 11 of your 1040 for our tax professionals out there. In other words, in layman's terms, the types of income that count towards IRMA. Any taxable Social Security benefit. Wages. Some of you guys are looking puzzled about wages, but you have some people who work ages 62 and beyond, right? So any wages that you earn count towards IRMA. Any pension income. How many people have a pension or expected to have a pension? So this pension income will count towards IRMA. Rental income. So, when I sit down and try and do retirement strategies with some people, some people laugh, say, well, real estate is going to be my form of retirement. Well, rental income will become part of IRMA. Also, capital gains, whether you're buying and selling stocks or buying and selling real estate, that's going to count towards IRMA. Dividends. So here's a key, right? So some people do munis because those dividends grow tax-free. They need to put an asterisk because according to the IRS and Social Security, the dividends will start to count when you turn age 65. Any qualified annuities, traditional 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, 457bs, SEPs, and for my federal people that have TSPs, yes, TSP is a form of a 401k, so that will count as well. So let's look at an example of some of these brackets. When you look at the Medicare income brackets for 2023, just imagine here. So you got a person that's 55 years old today, and they are planning to retire at age 70 to maximize that Social Security benefit. They're putting 5% of their salary into a traditional 401k with a 3% match. I know for some people that are federal, they get a 5% match. Planning on receiving a 5% rate of return on their investments throughout their working years, and a 4% withdrawal, right? Currently earning $75,000 in wages with no annual increase in salary for the remainder of their life. So let's think about this. They already have saved a whopping $75,000 in their traditional 401k at 55. Granted, it would take them a long time to reach IRMA, but what happens if they get a higher rate of return or they want to save more? What happens if Social Security COLA is higher than projected to be? Or worse, what happens if the IRMA brackets are decreased? Yes, IRMA brackets were called to be decreased back in 2014 through the presidential budget and were meant to take effect actually in 2017. But one thing I want to point out here, if a couple is under this amount, then they're the ones that pay the standard. So these are what you call cliff brackets. Because if you're $1 over, you automatically fall into this category, which means your Part B goes up to 230 and your Part D goes up. Now, I know we all think we're all going to live forever, but that's not the case. So one thing to think about, what happens if one of our beloved spouse passes away? Who does this income go to? Well, it goes to the surviving spouse, correct? So if this goes to the surviving spouse, they're no longer a couple. You guessed it, that's right. They automatically fall into this bracket because now they're what? They're an individual. So now all of a sudden, they're paying this particular premium. And if they have Part D, that's right, Part D, they got this particular premium. So you see how this is becoming an issue, right? Okay, so looking at this again, just examining it, if you're just in that first bracket alone, your total cost for Medicare from 67 until 90, $921,000. Okay, if you fall in that second bracket, well, guess what? 1.1 million. Who's prepared to pay that? Show of hands. So paying for Medicare, the bulk of these costs are automatically deducted from Social Security benefits. Now, if the benefit amount is not enough to cover Part B deduction, Social Security Administration withholds as much as possible and bills the beneficiary for the remaining balance due. That's right. So the relationship, right? I talked about that in the beginning. How are these two relational, right? Medicare and Social Security, Medicare and IRMA. What's the relation? So they're all tied together. So a lot of people think, oh, Social Security is going to go away. Oh, no. This actually pays the bulk of the healthcare costs throughout your retirement. So they can afford to let that go away because that'd be too much of a burden on the individual. Now, let me go to the next slide. So here I'm going to show an example about this. Well, before I jump to that, I almost forgot here. Now, you have to enroll for Medicare at age 65. They give you a short window. You got 6 months before you turn 65, the month of your birthday, and 6 months after to sign up. After that, there is a for registering late. A late enrollment penalty may be applied. So that's one thing to think that you want to, if you're coming of age, you should get a notification, but do not delay because those penalties, you will pay that penalty for the rest of your life. So just be aware. Now, next slide, I got an example here. Of course, we got names blacked out for privacy purposes, but you can see this is an example of a client that we have here. Got a letter. They live in Batesville, Arkansas, but they state here, we are writing to you about your Social Security benefit. And unfortunately, due to federal changes, a person's benefit is also subject to taxation. This is why planning has become so important. And you can see here that it says, based on the information we have, we cannot pay benefits beginning December 2022. So this just happened just last year. And they're showing them your monthly medical premium is what? You guys remember this number from the previous slide? It's like the second highest. It's $527, right? And so we are stopping your monthly benefit, right? And then you caught the last part. We must bill for that $1,300. Uncle Sam's gonna want his money, okay? That's why it's important planning, proper planning is in place. Now, this unique relationship between Social Security and Medicare. You can't have Social Security without Medicare, and Medicare happens to be automatically deducted from Social Security. What is also known is that Social Security benefits, COLA, is projected to be 2.4%, while Medicare is growing at just under 6%. So it would be expected that for many, their Social Security benefit would actually decrease over time. But thankfully, there is the Hold Harmless Act that I'm sharing on the screen. So again, thankfully, no one can see a decrease in Social Security benefits due to Part B premium increases. But the issue just happens to be that no one's Social Security benefit will actually increase to keep up with inflation. I don't know if some of you guys know, but I watch the news from time to time, especially financial, and they made the announcement that they were increasing COLA for Social Security over 8% this year. And the reason is because inflation was so high last year, right? I think the average was 8.5%, which to crush Social Security. So they had to raise the COLA for Social Security because a lot of hardworking Americans are not aware of what's going on behind the scenes. So again, unfortunately, there is no increase to keep up with this inflation, not unless an administration authorizes this automatic increase like they did this year. Here's a letter from Social Security Administration informing an enrollee who lives in Maryland that they have lost 100% of their Social Security benefit. The reason this happened, their health insurance through Medicare. So again, we cannot pay your benefit at this time. We are withholding all of your monthly benefits to recover past due medical insurance premiums. Yeah, tell me about it. So in order to receive Social Security benefits, you must enroll in Medicare or forfeit all current, future, and past Social Security benefits. So again, eligibility means you are 65 years of age or older and are no longer covered by credible health coverage by employer or spouse's employer. Failure to enroll without proof of other credible health insurance results in immediate forfeiture of all current, future, and past Social Security benefits. By the way, Medicare also has other parts, B and D. These parts are not free, and they also include late enrollment period for those who do not sign up when eligible. Okay, this federal regulation was first challenged when JJK petitioned the Department of Health and Human Services for the ability to just receive Social Security benefits without rolling into Medicare. By July 15, 2009, Health and Human Services ruled that the appellant was not entitled to withdraw from Medicare Part A hospital insurance benefits. Case was further appealed to the Medicare Appeals Council, where it was ruled individuals entitled to monthly benefits, which confer eligibility for health hospital insurance, may not waive hospital insurance entitlement. The only way to avoid hospital insurance entitlement is to withdraw, through withdrawal of the monthly benefit application. Withdrawal requires repayment of all Social Security and hospital insurance benefit payments made. To withdraw from this hospital insurance program, an individual must submit written requests for withdrawal and must refund any hospital insurance benefits paid on his or her behalf. So some people find out about this, they challenge it, but to no avail. Quick facts of Social Security. The average monthly benefit for a retiree, $1,657. The average spousal benefit, $832. Now the maximum monthly benefit is $4194. Me personally, the highest I've ever seen personally is $4190, and that was from a young lady who's 75, actually just retired from the federal government in New York, from the FDA. She had the most I had personally seen with my eyes, but it was becoming an IRMA issue. And this is the reason you have to plan properly and pack your bags properly. So when you unpack them for retirement, this won't be an issue. We'll get to that. Now, we talked about Medicare. Let's talk about Social Security here. Increases to Social Security benefits to help offset the rate of inflation. That's what COLA is, right? Cost of living adjustment. And unfortunately, each year there's a possibility of Social Security benefits to increase from the previous year, right? And I mentioned it earlier, but here is the projected. So currently, right now, like I mentioned, 8.7, and this is what they projected out earlier this year. But they just did a ruling in October. I think the benefit in January is going up to I think it's 3.3 or 4%. I gotta relook at that, but I know it's not going to be 2.4. But at least it's going to be slightly higher come January, but it's not going to be this 8.7. People that are receiving benefits at a higher clip than they were, get ready for an adjustment, right? Because you're not going to be over 8, you're not going to be over 5. I'll tell you that. Now, unfortunately, due to federal changes, a person's benefit is also subject to taxation. This is another reason why planning has become so important. Strategizing for retirement. So remember the slide where Social Security has become at least part of every financial plan? Well, due to taxation, the amount that people believe they will get is not always what they will actually get. The tax brackets here, these are from 2022. So if you see this individual making this amount from Social Security, 2534, possible 50% tax. If you're over that amount or greater, right, 85% tax. Joint, right, married couples, looking at a possible tax here. And if it's over 44, possible tax here. So the relationship, again, between Social Security and Medicare. In order to receive Social Security benefits, you must accept Medicare Part A when eligible. And, sir, what age was that?
65.
That is correct. You were paying attention. The bulk of Medicare are deducted automatically from any Social Security benefit being received. The average COLA, unfortunately, is 2.4. Medicare premiums inflating roughly 5.5, and that is through 2028. And of course, the 4 rules of retirement. You must enroll in Medicare to get Social Security. Your Medicare premiums are based on your income. So income related monthly adjustment amount, how well did you save and where did you save, right? We're going to talk about that. Rule number 3, IRMA income is more than you think. It really is. And we're going to actually touch on that in this next slide, the next couple of slides. Rule number 4, your Medicare premiums will reduce your Social Security benefit. So a lot of people think that IRMA probably affects only one demographic, right? But it actually affects everyone. And so I've got a couple examples here that I'm going to share just to show the impact of how this will or could affect individuals preparing for retirement. So show a visual on how one's Social Security benefit will be impacted by taxes. Here's a graph. So if we take an average person, this might be slightly above average, but making $75,000 a year throughout their entire working career, say for 35 years, they can expect to receive a benefit of about 31,000, right? And this is actually can be provided by the quick calculator I provided earlier. I didn't read it, but I know you guys read. I can go to the Social Security website and project that. But you also see here in the blue line what their projected income will be. Now, the purple line is their take-home benefit after taxes. They are projected to be in the 22% income tax bracket. 22, 25. I know I got 25 here on the screen. So after tax benefit, that's roughly probably around 26,000. We just say there. Now, you can see this in a lot of financial software, right? They might have the taxes, they might not. But the idea that you're getting this COLA and it's looking really good as what? As we're getting older. And that's what you want, right? To make more income. Because we're getting older, things can happen, right? Or inflation. But one thing that people don't know, Little Red Riding Hood, right? So part B and D, there's a slightly higher curve. I don't know if you can tell that, but this red line represents this person's total cost of Medicare. Now, the effect of that, you probably can't really tell it here, but on this next slide, that's the effect. So this green line is their Social Security benefit after taxes, after parts B and D. So unfortunately, what that feel good, that real feel good feeling they had, that feel good feeling, right? Of the thoughts of retirement, the purple line had them pretty confident. But when you actually see the effect as they're getting older, this green line, the truth line, right? It's starting to bend towards their age, right? It's bending down, it's going the wrong way. But that's the effect of the total cost, right? As they continue living, eventually those lines look like they're going to meet. Let's look at this next slide. So that's one demographic. Let's look at this other one. So there are some people out there who earn $250,000 or more, and they're actually in the 37% tax bracket, right? And as you can see with this blue line, their Social Security benefits right around 48, 49,000. And as you see this, it's got a steeper incline as they're getting older. They cross the 60 and 70,000 threshold and 80. Probably for most of them, they're like, yeah, okay, right? Especially if you're used to making 250. And then you're not really too happy about the taxes. It's like, well, it'll be something extra, but you're getting about 32, 33. And it's increasing slightly. And as you're getting older, on the edge of 90 here, you're getting close to, what is that, about 60,000, right? After tax. Might feel kind of confident, right? Their cost for Medicare. Bam. It's a lot steeper curve than the previous person we looked at, right? Would you agree? So yeah, that's a steep hill, right? So this IRMA cost and Medicare premiums, right? We're looking at down here at the bottom, B and D plus IRMA. Whew. So again, this is all affected how they prepare for retirement. We're looking at all the rental income and all of these different things. It's actually affecting your pockets. And so now let's just see what the truth line says. What does the green line say about this, right? I had a thought pop in my head. It got me thinking about Sesame Street. Oh, Grover or Oscar. What it was, Grover? And the trash can. Yeah, hey, bam. Woo. So now
Oscar the Grouse.
Oh, yeah, Oscar the Grouse. There we go. Yes, sir. So here we go. So, man, he always revels on somebody's demise, doesn't he? He always come out the trash can lid laughing. But boy, this ain't a laughing matter here. But if you see this, retiring at 7, and then all of a sudden at 73, 74, you're paying premiums back to Medicare. And as you continue to age, we're paying premiums back to Medicare because the actual take home is not enough to cover the premium. So based on IRMA, they're like, oh, you need to start paying. You need to pay back to Medicare. IRS sent this information to who? Security Administration. So they already know how you develop income for retirement. And so now this is all being reported. So believe it or not, there are and will be people who enroll into Medicare, accept Social Security benefits, and find themselves in the position where their Social Security benefit may not meet their Medicare premium. And unfortunately, they have to write a check on a quarterly basis. Shortfall. I don't know about you. I know you saw that some of these people had $527 to pay that were charged per month. But if I had to pay that out of pocket, they're taking it monthly from Social Security, but they're making you pay out of pocket quarterly. I mean, I know it's the same amount, but I would rather pay $527 than $1,560 or $70 some odd dollars. I don't know about you, but yeah, that they're paying on a quarterly basis, this just don't make sense to me. But that's what they do. Now, here is you might think that's bad. Here is the case that I've actually seen. I'm actually helping a couple of doctors in Florida with this same situation. Got a stay-at-home spouse, right? Because it's a stay-at-home spouse, they look at the Social Security benefit for this particular person and say, you know what? Instead of you receiving, 28, right? 56, they cut it in half. So they give half to the working spouse, and they say, we got to give half to your non-working spouse. She didn't work, or he didn't work. Unfortunately, the stay-at-home spouse, they get the benefit of half of their spouse's Social Security, but they each get hit with 100% of the IRMA surcharges for each individual. Now, how fair is that? So they split the Social Security and then they just hammer it for each individual spouse. So therefore, you see the curve of this red line, like Red Riding Hood is like, oh, phew, that is high. That's even higher than the before tax. But immediately day one, the working spouse retires. They coming out of pocket because the Social Security benefit is enough to cover the Medicare premiums. And again, you see that gap is getting wider and wider, and this joker, it's going negative. So that is probably the worst case scenario that I've seen. Stay-at-home spouse, things are great, then as soon as retirement comes, you got to pay up. And again, this was not planned for, so they're making adjustments right now, making adjustments on the fly. So at this particular point, this is information that everybody needs to know. For those of you that are here, we will continue because you are here. So give you all this bad news, but what's the good news? So I'm gonna get into the good news for those that's online. Thank you for participating. If you want to know the rest, uh, we will reach out to us and set an appointment. You can go to the website www.abetterlifefinancialgroup.com. You can reach out, go to the link in the bio. You can email, you can call, right? So, but at this point, thank you for joining us online. And we look forward to hearing from you to see how we can help you address these issues or avoid these issues with higher IRMA taxes or higher Medicare premiums. Thank you.